Today we're going to be going over the worst bosses in COD Zombies. Other than that, gamers, let's get into it. In the number 5 spot, we have the Ascension Monkeys. One of the main issues with Ascension is that, of course, it is too easy, but the monkeys are a serious flaw within this map. I understand that these were made in order to keep the player in a balance, but really, it gets really irritating once you have all 4 perks. It's easy to kill them in the Black Ops 3 version. After all, you just have to use a nuke. But in the Black Ops 1 version, they are absolutely annoying. Sure, I only have Jug right now, but realistically, if you have 4 or 5 perks, this gets really irritating to have to go back and forth, especially in a solo game. And I get it, it's beating a dead horse. The Ascension Monkeys are irritating, but it is a real pain just to constantly run around the map, even with stamina up, as you can't get to all your perks that you have. The reason they're number 5 on this list though is that if you do successfully defend all perks, you do get a perk, so you can get a perkaholic if you're really efficient. Most of the time, if you have 4 perks, you're probably going to be losing out a lot of them. You'll probably at least lose 2 perks around, and you have to go re-go, buy them back, and it is a real pain in the ass. And you could just argue, well, you know, if you're on round 35, you could just go re-buy your perks back, right? Well, the problem with that is you can't re-buy perks that you have in your 5th or 6th perk slot. Plus, another annoyance with this map is if you're playing solo and you have quick revive, they could take a quick revive away from you, and you will have to re-buy it, and eventually they could actually take all of your quick revives away, which is really irritating. If you're playing solo with 4 perks, you might as well just go defend quick revive itself, because you might as well just let the others burn, because quick revive has limited time uses. But there is ways you could distract the monkeys as well. If you throw grenades, you could actually throw them away from perk machines, and also you could distract them from their path location. But of course, there's a drawback to that. The Ascension Monkeys can just throw the grenades back at you, which could get really annoying, and you could actually take a lot of damage from it. Overall, I just hate the Ascension Monkeys. They get really irritating, and I would honestly take a more hard of a map if they took out the Ascension Monkeys. In the number 4 spot, we have the Thrasher from Zetsubo no Shima. The main reason why I put him on number 4 is because when you're setting up, he could be in the way constantly. He isn't extremely hard on the lower rounds like round 4, but once you get into the higher rounds, 30 plus, he takes a lot of bullets and is a bullet sponge. He doesn't reward the player, he doesn't give them anything, no max ammo, no insta-kill, nothing of the sort. And while playing co-op, he could actually eat players, and if you don't kill him soon, he will fully kill the player. Another issue I have with him is the challenges within this map. Some of the Thrasher challenges actually make you do very tedious things with the Thrashers that are nearly impossible if you don't know how to do, and can make players going for an Easter egg just reset the game over and over until you get good challenges. He's not necessarily a super difficult boss until the high rounds, but one of the bosses that intentionally get in the way, especially with the setup within this map. He is slow, but if not careful, he can down you with a couple swipes, especially when he's enraged when you shoot off his head. Another weird thing about this boss is if you shoot off his head, it's not necessarily a critical spot, it's more so an actual way to aggro him. His real spots are the spores on his left shoulder, his foot, and also his side, which can be hard when you're in crowded areas like I am, when you're just trying to kill him but the zombies get in the way. I think if the Thrasher was just a little bit easier to shoot sometimes, I don't think he'd be on this list. I think he gets a little too much hate in my opinion, but he constantly gets in the way and makes the player really have to do some jump and loops just to get through the map. Overall, I just think he's a very annoying boss that you have to deal with in COD Zombies, but really he isn't the absolute worst, but I think I'd pick something over him in this map. Number 3 on this list is the Denizens from Transit Zombies. Honestly, I believe nobody hates on the Denizens as much as I do. They're one of the most worst bosses in COD Zombies, mainly because their whole purpose is just to slow you down. Denizens not only blind you, but they also just stop you from getting to the bus. They were purposely added to this map just because the rendering distance, which I understand, but at the same time, I feel like the Denizens are a little too much at the same time. Every time I run through the fog, I always find myself getting lost because they distort me and they just blind me, and I can't find the direction where I'm actually going to. If you have the proper weapon, you could constantly look back and shoot them, but at the same time, that even still slows you down, and it makes the player actually more vulnerable because zombies could rush you from the front without you noticing. You know, of course, because you're turning around. They constantly get in the way and you never get a break from them. And another issue you have to deal with the Denizens is the fire and the lava. Instead of adding a fire and lava perk, Treyarch simply added a perk that helps you when you're dead, which makes absolutely no sense. I don't think I'd have nearly as the problem with Denizens if there was a fire perk that stopped you, because if the Denizens are on top of you and the lava is burning, you get down extremely quickly just because of the Denizen damage and also the lava damage that you take, which of course is a lot. But unfortunately, they never added that yet or never will. I think everyone and their mom hates the denizens just because of the annoyance that they are. I mean, really, all you have to look at is the fog, and then you have to look at claws on your screen. It really makes moving around the map a real pain in the ass, mainly because if you don't have the bus, you know you have to go and deal with them, and you could possibly die just in the fog. Overall, I just think they're a really annoying COD Zombies boss, and the map would be 10 times better without them. Even with the fog, I wouldn't even mind it. In the number 2 spot, we have the jumping jacks from Vanguard Zombies. I really hate the boss round on this map, specifically because the jumping jacks are really jumpy. I've never been a fan of crawlers and zombies, especially the Nova crawlers, but this takes it to a different level. They jump around, claw you, with multiple clawing you at the same time, and half the time when you're trying to defeat them, you knife them because you want to get that extra perk, which really isn't even worth it. They constantly get in the way between doors, perks, power, etc, etc, but especially when you're on the rooftop in Die Rise. You'd think they'd have something that would actually just sit there and stay still, at least on this map alone, but no, this is the one map where you don't get that, which is absolutely insane to me. Even when you go higher in the rounds, there are even more that you have to deal with, and there's no other place to deal with them besides the rooftop. Yeah, it's a bad place to deal with them, but in the other rooms where it's extremely crowded, they could gang up on you and even down you very quickly. They don't do that much damage if you have Juggernog or if you have Permajug or even both. They're just one of those things you're like, oh no, the jumping jacks, we gotta deal with them this round. They're really tedious boss, and honestly, I just really despise them because I just don't think they have a good design. And if you're out of ammo and you're waiting for a max ammo for this round particular, you're basically screwed, and you might as well just go spend money just to get ammo, because dealing with these with the melee is absolutely horrendous. You can deal with them with the trample steam, but even then you have to train around that plenty of times just to get all of them down. Overall, I just think they are a really bad boss and really badly designed, and really they could have put this on any map but Die Rise, and honestly I think they'd be a way better boss and probably not even on this list. And finally, without a doubt, we have number 1, and that is the Mimic. I absolutely hate the Mimic. It is the worst boss in COD Zombies, hands down, and I absolutely despise him. There are many issues with the Mimic itself, but personally I think the whole design around him is a unique idea, but it doesn't even work throughout the game. He hides his score streaks on the ground, but score streaks don't even drop on the ground. It makes no sense. And then he has his jump and lunge attack, which can bite through your armor and bite through half of your health or even more depending on the round. He's in Firebase, Outbreak, and also Forsaken, which gets really irritating after a while, constantly dealing with him out of all of the bosses because he in Cold War Zombies is the worst. Treyarch really could have designed this a lot better, and personally I think they just didn't have enough time, hence why they drop as score streaks rather than actual drops like grenades and Molotovs. And also they just spawn a little too much for me. I know they got a reduced spawn rate, but even then it's still really bad, and constantly you have to deal with this at least 3 or 4 times around. And on high rounds he is a very tanky boss. He takes most of the shots that you have, and he doesn't reward you with anything. He doesn't give you a max ammo most of the time, and usually you're just spraying into him because you have to deal with him. He doesn't reward the player whatsoever. But I think that is going to about wrap it up. If you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. If you get me to 2,000 before June, I will be doing a face reveal. Check out the links in the description, join the Discord, all that, this, that, and the other. But in that, gamers, I will see you guys in the next one. Hope you have a wonderful day. See ya.